I'm Steve O'Keefe. I'm the CEO of Virtual Service Operations, and I'm here with my good friend and VP of Managed Services, Ethan Watts. We're here to talk about CMMC 2.0 or CMMC in general. We're going to talk about how it applies to you, and particularly if you're in the defense industrial base, but also anybody who is working with the government, and how not to look at this as a chore, but actually an accelerant. So Ethan, why don't you introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Again, I'm Ethan Watts. I run our managed services, and we are on the spearhead of this and can help you in any way you need. Steve, good to see you today. What is CMMC and is actually in effect right now?
This is something the DoD has been thinking about for a while, and it's about the securing unsecured data. And people, that's another thing people talk about, like, well, why are we talking about unsecured data, right? The DoD and the government data is always interested in secret, top secret, the IL levels or the impact level, whether 1, 2, 3, or 4. But this is really a very interesting approach the government's taking, and for a very good reason.
Well, it's even specific to the federal contract information as well as the controlled and unclassified information.
Yes.
Is the specificity of it all.
Yeah, my perspective is, if you think about the nature of cyber attacks, more than 60% of them really come from social engineering. They're trying to, all the phishing that we see in our emails really is an attempt not just to, oh, now I have the social security number. It's actually to get into the system and analyze the pattern of way the people interact. So if you think about that from a national security perspective, well, once they get you, somebody clicks on an unsecure email and they capture their password information, then they can now start to observe the pattern of activity between, oh, that means that base, that means that missile, that means that cyber attack. And that's why this information is so important, because it's actually, even to a certain degree, the most important data, because if they can build and analyze the way the humans talk to each other, they can put together a fact pattern and really know a great deal about how to actually do a real attack against the critical infrastructure.
That's right. And protecting that surface area of those logins and those active directories and all those is a big part of the controls that are controlled by the NIST that is applicable here, right? That's the whole idea, is how do you protect that data from the get-go if they are locked down?
Yeah, and I think when you think about, people say, oh, I just have to do this thing, like they're your taxes, like I have to fill out the survey, it's a waste of time. If you break it down and you think about it like what we just did, and why are we doing it, it actually becomes critical. And in fact, it's a real enhancement, because the government or industry and the government is collaborating together to create this approach to say, this is how you do it. And so in a way, you're like, okay, how am I going to secure my unsecured assets? How am I going to secure my email? In this space, there are protocols that companies like VSO and your team in the managed service has done multiple times to say, here's how we're going to do this. Here's how we're going to keep you secure. And not only are we going to meet this compliance, but most importantly, why do you want to be compliant? Because you want to be secure.
Well, and an important factor is not only how are you going to do it, it's when are you going to do it. So the CMMC program that went into effect December 2024 when phase 1 started, all goes off of these November 10, November 10, November 10, the next 4 years. So I'm sure that date keeps CISOs and CIOs awake at night. So it's a phased approach. It's not all at once. Like you mentioned, it's been talked about for a long time. And the certification of companies and the DEV's ability to control, to secure these controls is rolled out in these phases that requires a one-time, a gap analysis audit. But like you were mentioning, ongoing compliance management is really where it's key.
Now, you just used an acronym there, and people always complain about using acronyms. So you just used one, and you use DIB. Does that mean like I get dibs on front seat? What does it mean?
Well, you certainly have to sit in the front seat because your legs are long, so I can get that. So having spent 8 years active duty in the military, I still have acronyms to this day that I cannot forget as much as I try. But DIB stands for Defense. You're very welcome. The DIB stands for Defense Industrial Base. It is a base that creates, manufactures, and allows our military service members to be successful. Munitions and everything from A to Z. Large ecosystem. We're here in DC, big part of DC, but it's nationwide. We see it everywhere. And in order to do business and contract, even as a subcontractor or prime, this is all applicable to everyone in the ecosystem.
Yeah. And I would say, as a shout out to my fellow small business men and women out there who are trying to build their business, largest market in the world is the U.S. federal government. And the DoD is a great market and a great place to be part of. So don't just think of it as, hey, well, I don't make things that go boom. Like, well, you make tires, right? They land planes on tires, right? And I think that means you're part of if you join this mission, you're part of that supply chain, right? And this has to be big and small. You all have to do this. But again, I know people think I'm crazy saying it. I think it's exciting that we have these frameworks that you can put in place that are from the cloud. You can do it Azure, you can AWS, you can Google, and these things can be done efficiently and frankly that can protect your environment. Now, again, to Ethan's point, it has to be done by November 10th, and we can help you get there. But you should be doing this, and because I think it's a great way to protect your environment.
And if they're not doing it, they're behind already. But you mentioned something interesting to me, the flow downs, like with all prime and subcontracts from now to the whole lifetime that we worked on. Flow downs are important at all levels. This gets complex when you start flowing down to certain subcontractors. It depends on the data, the FCI or the CUI data that they're even seeing, right?
Yep.
So you can have a prime at level 2 audited, certified, C3 PAO certified, and a subcontractor not have to be if they don't see the data. It's very complex, which is, again, was where you need someone with the expertise and a services and a partner, a consultant, you can help you get through that, because it gets, much like many government things, it gets complicated quickly.
Yeah. And what about, Ethan, we have many government bodies here. You got NIST, which comes out with the standards of security. You have some things which have U.S.-only personnel. You have some things which are CONUS, another great acronym, which means Continental United States. CONUS means outside the continental United States.
Sure.
So how does all this kind of jumble together? Like, how do we think about these individually, or how do we think about our plan to develop our IT systems with all these different competing, or not even competing, but how does the alphabet soup kind of come together?
Well, it comes together for me and our managed services. That's all well and good, and you have to have that understanding. But we talked about it at the very beginning, the surface area that you're protecting and the controls of the IT environment, right? The Azure environment, the AWS environment, literally down to the individual endpoints, quite frankly, and to the users. And so for me, it's guarding the walls, right, of the IT environment, top to bottom. Again, I joked earlier about being in the Navy. Acronyms are important because they mean things. But when it all comes down to it, my job at the time was to keep this system up so that my ship could do this mission today, right? So the goal is to, obviously uptime, but the security and compliance management of environments so that these entities and these dead businesses can conduct their business and their core business toward the national defense that we mentioned, which is obviously the core mission that we're all involved in, right? The protection of America, Americans, and our allies.
Yeah. What I think people are concerned with, or people who I think wrongly say, okay, I'm going to get the level 1, I'm going to do the self-certification, I'm going to do level 2, and then I'm going to put it on a shelf and never do it again. And I think that's the absolute wrong way to think about it. And I think that furthermore, you have to recertify, and people who do business with you are going to be looking at your environment and say, hey, are you compliant? Are you staying compliant? I don't know, you think about it, but I think of it like people who kind of have that mindset should kind of use this analogy. Like, if you only take care of your car before the state inspection, that's what the police are looking for. They're like, oh, look at that, the light's out, right? And you're going to get pulled over. I said, but if you're doing regular inspections and you're keeping compliant, you're going to have a well-running car, well-running IT, to kind of use the analogy, and you're not going to run afoul of the contracting officers. And frankly, once you follow them, that you're on the list.
You are.
And that's all they're gonna worry about is you. They're gonna make it their life's mission to inspect you as often as possible.
Well, to take that analogy, along those lines, the inspection and/or when it comes time to either renew or extend or bid on a new deal, your car's not going to be on the road.
Yes, that's right.
They will take your tag. You won't be on the road.
That's right. They'll be like, we are not doing you.
And to elaborate a little bit more on that, the ongoing maintenance, if you will. You know me, I'm a car guy. I love the analogy. I also a big fitness guy. If you ignore your body and you try to get in shape once every 5 years, it's a lot harder than staying in shape, right? So anyway, that comes down to having a good partner, a good managed service partner, or a good IT department that's mature and handles these things ongoing, consistent. It's minute to minute with this. Second to second. It's not once a year. Let's look at where we're at. That's how you get caught. That's exactly how you get caught. Complacency.
Yeah, so I'd like to make a pitch for your managed services, and it comes down to two things for me. One, the administration's been very clear that the defense industrial base isn't where they want it to be, right? They want faster, they want more innovation, and they want it more secure. The White House just put out their security briefing on that, and they reemphasized that point. And my perspective is, and I think you've done a fantastic job collaborating with these DIB companies to say, hey, you work on the missile, you work on the plane, you work on this. We are gonna focus on being innovative and secure in this environment. And the stuff you've done, especially with some of these startups, has been nothing short of fantastic. And I measure our success by how thrilled the customers are, and they're thrilled. So, talk a little bit about how you partner with these companies and how you keep them informed and collaborate with them, but allow people to kind of focus on their core competencies.
Absolutely. So our interaction day to day with our clients is with their IT directors and CIOs. So their focus is IT. But the reactions we've gotten, welcome that we've gotten once we've interacted and engaged and started live accounts in support of their environment is, I see their shoulders go down like, oh, where have you been?
Yes.
Because even within the IT department, I'm talking not even out on the manufacturing floor, which is a great point, but even within the IT department, they want to be able to look up and over and survey their companies. They don't want to be down on Mary's laptop and this and that, right? The operation side of it, right?
Yep.
It's a drag, right? So we come in, we do that, and we take that off their shoulders so they can look at their company's mission overall and my mission is their
Yep.
mission always.
Yep.
All I want to convey on that question is that their mission is our mission. But I just wanted to go, well, again, I get it, the CIO and their production VP's looking at it, but I want the IT director to go, man, I need this guy to get this on my shoulders so I can do this. So to answer that, Steve, we collaborate from the very first engagement on where you at, how are you doing? And you'd be surprised how many people are pretty frustrated at this point on where they need to be. So we bring the expertise and essentially we tell them, and again, our persona that we talk to most of the time is CIO, IT director down. So they care about IT. What do they care about their IT? They care about getting productivity at this point, right? How can I keep my business moving as fast as possible? So we come in, we take over operations, we give the expertise on the day-to-day securing those surface areas we're talking about, and a compliance management ongoing that allows them to look up and over and plan their roadmap from an IT perspective, again, for the next 2-3 years. But ultimately, what does that do? That allows them to make missiles faster, parts faster, and again, which all gets us to the ultimate mission of defending Americans and our allies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what excites me, and I know the strange way to think about it, is when we started to dig into this, and I started to look at the tech, I was like, okay, this is going to free these individuals from the death of 1,000 cuts. Oh, that's not secure. That's not secure. And I said that some of the tech that's been put out by the cloud providers, the CSPs, and also the cloud providers on premise, essentially going to the private cloud, is really enabling. And when you think about, okay, how am I going to get AI involved? These environments, really, we can make AI shine in a very secure way. So by going into these CMC compliant environments, you're going to accelerate, right? Because you're going to get better tech and you're going to be able to introduce new tech that is all compliant into this framework. And as I said, you were saying earlier, how the sigh of relief from these customers, because now they can not think about, oh gosh, everything's so hard. I got to go through this very legacy process. No, once we get into these environments, we can accelerate the use of a lot of this tech. We're working with some fantastic customers that are on some real old tech that are having power issues, let alone security issues, let alone level issues. And when I look at them, I'm like, man, this is going to be great for everybody. And it's going to be great for the country.
It is. In the path to this, look, automation, AI, and accelerating your IT tasks and operationalize, it's not exclusive to the DIB. Obviously, commercial, it's everywhere.
Course.
But to your point, you made a point. The GCC high environments and in the cloud providers have came up with some tremendous tools that are secure. And within that framework, those walls, right, the 3-foot walls of the secure cloud, the automation you can do to crawl and protect those surface areas as exponentially expanded the last few months, quite frankly.
Yeah.
We're on the spearhead of that. We're on top of all of it. It's fantastic. It saves time, energy, and then it turns into my team are doing a lot of governance of those agents,
Yep.
which is a whole new skill set.
Yep.
It's super interesting. And as an old tech head myself, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
And our team are working on that day and night too. Because it's so fast, but it's also so secure. You have agents doing the work of 5 people in a row, just like that every day.
Yeah, I'd just like to recap one thing. Having seen your experts go through the process, this can be time. If you try to do this yourself, it is a huge time suck because there are documents, there are ways we think about it. The language sometimes isn't clear. I would say even to say, hey, help me get into this environment, I would point them to you because, again, you're going to accelerate them and saying, this is real, this isn't real, this is tomorrow, this is today. And I've just seen you work with the customers. And as I said, that theme, we're going back to the relief of saying, oh, not only am I behind on my production schedule and really just supporting the factory, now I have to deal with this.
That's right.
And I think this is something we can take off the plate and that will accelerate the factory forward.
There's not an IT director as there are their team that hasn't went through the self-assessment, and they already did. That did thought, wow, this is the easiest thing in the world. I can't wait to do the real one.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way. There's no
Said
one.
nobody.
Not
Exactly.
one. So I think it's imperative to partner with an expert in the space that can make that easy for you. The gap analysis after your assessment, working with the C3PAO, and again, following on. 'Cause like I said, it's not a one-time thing. It's
Yeah.
not a one-time oil change. It's maintenance. You got to keep going.
Yeah, I love the analogy. I love it.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Ethan. This has
Thank
been
you.
fun.
Always.